Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. So, I was born in 1998, and here's what I've learned so far about this world. Power. That is the word. Power. Those who have power and those who don't have power. The ones that have power do whatever they like, and the ones that don't have power have to cope. The ones that have power, they win, and the ones that don't have power, they lose. Okay, that is what I've learned. And it doesn't matter who has this power. It has always been the case that those that have power, it blinds them. They don't see what they are doing as wrong, and they justify whatever it is that they do. And they do have that power, and no one can stop them really, except one thing. One thing can stop them. Is a fact about the world. This is the only thing that stops them. The powerful. The power doesn't remain with one person forever. That is the only thing that stops them. Power shifts. It doesn't stay with one group of people in one particular country, in one particular place. It doesn't stay like that. It's going to shift. There's going to be some conflict, and then power swings to one side. The ones that win, usually. So, whoever you are only going to have power for only a period of time. Whoever you are. We've seen how this has, just in the period of 200 years, empires have been destroyed. Bro, it does happen like that. So, that is the only thing that can stop the powerful, is that their power is only for a period of time, and another power is going to come. 100%. This is a fact. So, the only thing that matters now is, while you had power, what did you do with that power? That is the only thing that's going to count. Were you just or not? Okay? Justice is not about power. Justice transcends power. Whether you have power or you are weak, you still have to be just. So much so that, here's what I've learned also. The weak people are not necessarily the good people here. They are not necessarily the good guys here. Yes, they are being oppressed, but it doesn't mean if you give them power, they're going to do well with that power. It has not been the case usually. If you give power, the ones that have power are oppressing the weak. If you give power to the weak, they will oppress those people also. So the cycle continues. It's about winning or losing. It's a game. It's a game of who is going to win and who is going to lose. It's not about justice. But the weak cry for justice. They cry for justice because they are being oppressed, and it's true. Their cry is, it's legitimate because they are suffering and they are being oppressed. It's true. Their cry is justified. But usually if you give them power to, they do the same thing. Now the problem is this. When the weak complain of oppression and injustice, the powerful have justification. They have reasons why they think what they are doing is not injustice and is reasonable. And what they are doing is what they have to do. The strong or the powerful always have reasons. There are people that even defend them. They will come and say, this is the most reasonable, the most pragmatic. Justice is not about pragmatism and what's reasonable. It's about what is just and what is not just. It doesn't matter who does it. Do you get it? But the powerful, they are blinded by the power, so they won't see it. So they have a justification. Now the problem is this. Remember I told you that the power is going to shift. So the people that are on top today, they go to the bottom, and now they start crying. The powerful of yesterday, they start crying today. And when they start crying, they forget all the justifications that they gave for their acts of injustice, their act of oppression that they did while they had power that they couldn't see. They forget all those arguments, and they start oppressing. They start crying for justice. So remember, they had power and they justified oppressing people, and they didn't even see it as oppression. But when you do exactly the same thing to them, when they lost their power, when another power comes, they start crying and complaining for justice. Now, Do you notice another thing that I just said here? The weak that were complaining before, when they have power, they forget all the complaints and cry for justice that they were making when they were underdogs, and they start oppressing the people. Do you notice what's going on here? It's not like one side is good and the other side is not. What's it called? Is that one side is bad and the other side is good? No, it's usually the one that has power is oppressing the other one, and this one is crying for justice, and is actually when the weak cry for oppression, they're actually not faking it. It's real, because it's only the oppressed that seems to get it. It's only when you are being oppressed, when you are being when injustice is going on and it's happening to you, it seems to be it has only time you understand what justice is. But the moment you have power, you forget it. This is what has happened. It doesn't matter, irrespective of religion, irrespective of culture, irrespective of state. It has always been like this. So the only people that we can exclude from this cycle, I call it the karma cycle. Is this karma cycle? It's like winning and losing. It's not about justice. There's no justice in here. It's all about we won, we lost. When they cry, some of them cry for just losing. There's no cry for injustice. In order for you to be able to cry for injustice or for justice, you need to be able to stand for justice, irrespective of power. Those are the only people that deserve justice. Those are the only people that can cry when they're actually being oppressed. A true cry. In one of my writings I said, when you are being oppressed, you need to be able to cry. Even if you are going to be destroyed, at least I can cry, because I'm actually innocent. But if I am not innocent and something bad happens to me, I wouldn't be able to cry, because I'm literally a bad person as well. Imagine if like someone goes into my house and tries to rob my house, okay, and is like actively trying to kill my children, and then my neighbor or someone shoots him in the leg, and now he's like crawling away, and now he's crying like, help. Bro, what do you mean help? You were literally caught. You lost. You're crying for losing, not crying for, because you are not a just person in the first place. Do you understand? So this is usually what happens. But the thing is that's what I've learned over my stay in existence since 1998 up to now. It's not like I was like accumulating it, but the point is that I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who has power. Power blinds everybody that has it. Only a few people in history can we point to. Only a few people that they had power, but they were still just. Those are the only people that held on to the mantle of justice. It's not easy to have power and be just. It's not easy. That's what I'm trying to show you. The reasonable thing to do is to not care, because it doesn't matter. You decide what is just if you have power. But the people of justice, they wouldn't let power near the justice. Justice will be on its own, unaffected by power. Okay? So I think that's all I want to say in this video. Now you can take this understanding that I just told you into any conflict around the world. You will be able to see the dynamics of what's going on. Who has power? Just look, who has more power? That guy. Any judgment that he's talking about is going to be blinded. You will not see the oppression that he's doing. The oppressed, they don't have power. That's why they're in that position. They lost. And if you ask them, why are they crying? Is it for justice or is it for losing? Do they want to win as well? So in a way, you can kind of like interpret or analyze any of such conflicts, wars, oppression going on around the world. You can know who is doing injustice here. It's usually the powerful, okay? Of course, because they are the ones that can actually do it. Whoever has power, they are the ones that oppress people. The weak don't oppress. The weak don't because they cannot. Because they don't have power. Do you get it? Like, the weak, they can only be tested is when you give them power, will they oppress as well? That's how you know their own stance as well. So these are usually the case. It's more like the way the nature runs, you know. It's like survival of the fittest. The weak survive. The strong survive. The weak have to cope. That's how nature is. But humanity, we have some values that we believe is more than just that. And if we lose those transcendent values, because what I'm describing here, when I talk about justice, is something transcendent. Values, things like wisdom, justice, truth, those are values that are transcendent values. They are not scientific values. They are values you hold on to, whether you are advantaged or disadvantaged. You don't get excused for not holding on to them. Do you understand? Those are values that we've lost. And if we lose them, we just become like animals, because animals don't have that. So in a way, when a lion, the lion that's protecting its pride, gets invaded by two wandering male bachelor lions, and they kill him and they take over his family and they kill all his kids, no one can talk about justice here or injustice. It's just the rule of nature. But is that what humanity is? If that's what we are, no problem. So let's not talk about justice anymore or any justification. Do you understand that? If what we are is actually like the way animals are in nature, survival of the fittest, if that's all we are, then the weak should shut up, and the strong the powerful should save us their proselytizing and their justification. Don't justify anything. Just do. Just win. Don't justify your acts to us. Don't preach to us about justice or what you are doing is good. Just do. We just know you have power. Just do whatever you like. And the weak should stop complaining, because we are all animals anyway. That's what it should just be. Yeah, right? The lion doesn't go around complaining and saying, oh, why is this happening? Because he would have done the same thing too. But if we are more than that, if our justifications are to have any meaning, if our cries are going to be true, we need to understand that justice is transcendent. And it doesn't matter whether you have power or not. You are still responsible for holding it. And those who let it go cannot cry in a true manner. Their cry will be hypocritical. They are only crying because they are losing, not because they care about justice. Give them power, you'll see their true colors as well. I mean, look, there are some groups that have been oppressed historically, and yet they have power now. Look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing with that power. I told you. Once you have power, it's the reasonable thing to do. It seems to be that it's the most reasonable thing to do, to just oppress and do whatever you like. And when you don't have power, you start seeing justice more. So in a way, not having power actually helps you to be able to actually see justice. And that's why I'll end with this. Some philosophers recognize these dynamics, like someone like Nietzsche. And he talks about that. You see what I'm talking about, transcendent values? He called it the power of the weak people over the powerful. He's saying that the weak people they created these values in order to protect themselves from the strong, from the powerful. It's not because there's anything real about justice or wisdom. And he said this clearly. So he said, get power. If this is true, that's exactly what the animals do. Okay? The weak recognize their position and the powerful recognize their position. And no one preaches to anybody. The deer doesn't preach to the tiger that, bro, what you're doing is not just. They just do whatever they do, man. Do you understand? So some philosophers already understood these dynamics, and they said that since they don't believe in the transcendent values, they believe in power instead. So get power, win, or you lose, and take it. It's like a game. When you play a game, you came to win. You didn't come for justice. You came to win, and if you lose, you'll be like, oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. There is no talk of justice anymore. So what annoys me the most is the powerful when they give justification. When they give justification for what they are doing. You're wasting out. You are just an hypocrite. Don't give any justification, because tomorrow when you become weak, you will not uphold those justifications. You will see them as evil. When that same justification is applied on you, you will reject it. How? Just because you lost power now is injustice and is wrong. You see? So, and the weak also, they talk about justice when they are weak, but when they get power, they forget it. What are we doing, man? This kind of world did we even come into? But anyway, those that want to owe themselves to the transcendent values, they're the only ones that can talk here. They're the only ones that can cry, even if they lose, because they didn't come to win. They came to establish justice. That's all I'm going to say in this video. See you guys later. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me see what you think in the comment section.